Good afternoon, students, and welcome to this session. Please tell me, can you hear me? Cindy,
Yes, ma'am.
Right, thank you. Before we start, please type your student numbers in the conversation box. And at the end, don't forget, complete the feedback form and evaluation form, please. Today, we'll talk about portfolios, the development of portfolios. So just one moment, please, while I upload my screen. Just before I upload, students, please tell me, have any of you ever done a portfolio?
Hi, Portia.
Yes, good day.
Unfortunately, I have to say that I have not done a portfolio yet.
All right, thank you. Anyone else? Did you ever done a portfolio? Yes.
I haven't done one either.
All right, and at school?
No, not at school.
Not. Thank you. Albertina, have you done anything like this before? Arlene? Student, please turn off your camera, switch off your camera, and mute yourself. Thank you. So one moment while I upload my screen, please. Student, can you please switch off your mic? Mute yourself. Thank you. Zubair, please tell me, is my screen visible on your side?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Tell me, do any of you have an idea of what a portfolio is? Jamie Lee, do you have an idea of what portfolios is? Or Cindy, Albertina?
Bulletproof motherfucker!
Yes, student, I'm listening. All right. Let me explain to you what portfolio is. A portfolio consists of all the work you have done in this module during this time. Tell me, did you receive your assignment for portfolios yet? Students, did you receive your assignment on
I have
portfolio?
not yet, ma'am.
Not yet. All right.
Not yet.
I've been looking for it, but I haven't been able to find it.
All right. I'm sure they'll post it soon or put it on the group. Now, portfolios consist of all the work you've done up until now. And as you know it, there are a variety of definitions of what portfolios is. Some will say that it's a collection of your work that will demonstrate your achievements or improvements. But in simple terms, we can say that a portfolio is a collection of all your materials your working experiences, your beliefs, your skills, what you've learned over this term or semester, the training you have done, and that will show insights into your personality and your work ethic. So, you will be telling your own stories, or you will present your own work of evidence that you've gathered over this period of studying, and then you will be able to show us your learning journey over the time by gaining specific knowledge, skills, and attitudes that you've developed towards your subject area, towards BPT, and you will also prove to us what you know and what you've learned over this time. Tell me, students, can you see an improvement as from the beginning of the semester up until now? Have you grown in any way? Do you have a better understanding of what BPT is about? Zubair, have you grown in any way?
I can say that I have grown, yes.
All right. How? What improved?
Um, how can I say this? Basically, what it is like to be a teacher, what
You're breaking up?
I think somebody else's mic is on.
All right. Thank you, student. Please switch off your mic, mute yourself.
Can you hear me now, ma'am?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So what I was saying was, what I've learned is what it entails to be a teacher, what teachers have to go through, what it takes to be a teacher, what skills I've learned to become a teacher, and so on. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Anyone else would like to share what you've learned over this period? Jamie Lee, would you like to share your experience with us?
Yes, Portia, I've learned a lot. I could also relate from my theory in BPT to my practice. So I done my practice as well at the school. So I could like integrate the theory with my practice, which made me understand things better.
All right, good. Thank you. Stephanie, would you like to share with us? Cecilia? All right, students, as I've mentioned, a portfolio consists of a collection of your work, your experiences. Remember, your portfolio will consist of your assignments you've done during this semester. It will also include documents, drawings, photographs, and your evidence of learning must be in the portfolio, meaning they might be asking you, please share with us what is your understanding of a professional teacher? And you've already done the assignment. Am I correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And if yes, and you've already done it. So you might include that, or they might ask you, what is your best assignment? Then you're going to choose the best one out of all the assignments you've done for this semester so far. So evidence is very important. And with portfolio writing, you will approve your ability and you will show your work ethic. Through that, you will show your knowledge you've gained and what you've been able to implement. If you're at the school, what you've been able to implement and what you've learned in BPT. So, what do you think? What would the elements be of a portfolio? What will it include? Anyone? What what elements will be included in your portfolio? Remember,
Ma'am?
yes,
I would say whatever assignments that you've done, the drafts that you came up with, the rough work, all of that to show what to show that you are dedicated to doing this module.
yes, good, thank you. Anyone else would like to add to that?
Reflection of the work done
Yes,
or
definitely.
what you have learned. Reflection of what you have learned. Yeah.
Yes, and what you can do different. Am I correct?
Yes, Portia.
Did you try that? All right, thank you. Anyone else? So portfolios will include your work samples. And your work samples or your portfolio must be purposefully compiled to tell your specific experience or your story of achievement or growth in the area of studying BPT. Then the aim of it is to demonstrate your abilities and, like I've said, the knowledge and skills and even the opportunities that you had to go visit schools and do interviews that you can all reflect on while doing your portfolio. And remember, you will receive a feedback or you will receive feedback on your work. And that feedback will be to evaluate the effectiveness of your interaction between yourself, your studies, and if you were part of the school community working with the learners. So, this portfolio will also enables you to assess your own work by reflecting on it. Go back and see where you can better yourself or what you can do better. Then the document must be of a good quality, seeing that this is going to be your student portfolio, meaning you will only choose the best examples, the best assignments, and incorporate that or put that into your portfolio. It also enables you then to monitor your own progress and to reflect on your development over time. So you will constantly be reflecting on what you've learned so far and how you developed yourself over this period from day one, starting BPT up until now. Is that clear to you, or would you like me to explain again, students?
Clear on my side, Portia.
No, good.
I
Thank you.
understand.
All right. Thank you. Jamie Lee, do you understand? Are you clear on this?
Yes, Portia,
All
understand.
right, Chris.
Understood.
Oh, thank you. Kirsten, what do you say? Kirsten, Stephanie? Are you good? All right. So your portfolio will provide evidence of your developmental stages or leaps where you, in the process of learning new ideas of what a professional teacher is, and you will have new insights, and you will use the examples of your best practice. And remember, this portfolio is not just a resource document. It's not just a resource document, but it will consist of the work that you have been carefully and purposefully selected. Because, as I've mentioned before, you will choose only the best of your practicals or your examples or your assignments or what you've did in PPT. Portfolios can also be produced in a variety of media. Like I've said previously, photographic, it can be journals, videos, electronic or digital portfolios. Remember, with this said, you must have a specific aim of demonstrating and understanding of what you have learned. So remember, a portfolio is not just putting everything together, but you must understand what you have learned. Are you all clear on this side, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Now, what is the purpose of portfolios? What do you think, students? What is the purpose of doing this portfolio or doing a portfolio? Arlene, what do you think? What is the purpose of portfolios? Remember, I've explained to you now, it's your own work. You're only going to select the best. You will compile it purposefully, and it will show your growth, what you've learned over this period of time. So what do you think is the purpose of portfolios now?
Portia,
Yes.
I say the purpose of a portfolio is like a summary of what you've done. It shows how you've gone about doing the assignments, what you've learned, basically like a reflection of how you've gone about your assignments,
Yeah.
and basically a physical form of your to reflect on what you've done.
All right. Thank you. Good. Anyone else? Please, students, share with me what you think is the purpose of portfolios. Albertina, what do you think? Cindy, what do you think? Kirsten, Jamie Lee? What is the purpose of doing a portfolio? All right. The purpose of a portfolio is to help you to document your skills, your achievements, your experiences, and it's there to challenge you to create your best work, to choose your best work, to set up the best portfolio, and also to help you to reflect on what you have accomplished thus far. Would anyone now like to add to the purpose of portfolios? So students, please remember the purpose of portfolios. It's to illustrate your achievements, to demonstrate your ongoing development, to collect your evidence, and to share it with the others. Meaning, you're going to collect your evidence and share it with those who's going to read your portfolio or assess your portfolio. Then, it's also part of the learning and assessment process. So, this is also used for instructional use portfolios when we assess it. We're setting specific goals for the achievement, and you know it by now because that will be in your rubric as to what you must do, how you must do it, and what is expected of you to be in the portfolio. So the advantage here of creating a portfolio or your portfolio is that the process of creating a portfolio will enable you to develop self-reflection, critical thinking. What is it to think critically? Anyone? What do you think? What is critical thinking? Please, students, share with me. Critical thinking.
I think for critical thinking is to delve way deeper into a topic than just scratching the surface of it.
Yes, correct. Thank you. Anyone else would like to add to that? What is your understanding of critical thinking, students?
Hi.
Yes, good day.
Yeah, I'm Rushan.
Good
I
day,
think
Rushan.
that has to do with the way you see things and your understanding of something and to analyze it with the knowledge that you have gained um, um, from either your reading or your studying. Not just taking things at face value. Yeah, that's what I think.
Yes, thank you. Correct. Good. Anyone else? Please share, students. It's like the student said just now. It is normally used to describe the forms of learning, thoughts, and the analysis that goes beyond what you memorize or what you've learned and recall of information and facts. Thank you, students. That is what critical thinking is all about. So I've said the portfolio will enable you to develop self-reflection, critical thinking, and also responsibility for learning. And the content area and skills and the knowledge that you've learned over this time. And remember, when doing this portfolio, you will receive the specific criteria for evaluation, the rubrics. And do also keep in mind that it will be based on the range of assignments you've done throughout the semester. You will, for example, include the best selection of your work. And you could also provide, if you've been involved in a school, you can also provide an overview of your involvement of specific tasks and or showing how your skills have developed or improved over time. Would you like me to go over this again, students, or is it understood? Do you understand? Rushan, does it make sense? Are you okay with this?
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I think if I can just, it reminds me of the portfolios that kids are doing in school, where you sort of gauge from the child how that child has mastered the work. It's actually it's almost like a photo album of yourself, your work that you have done.
Yes,
So
correct.
the child has a record of how that child has performed up to a certain point. I know in schools that when kids aren't able to write exams, their portfolio can also, mitigate as to should they go progress to another grade or not, just by merely looking at the portfolio that they've done.
Yes, correct. Just by mentioning student learners that can't write, that is when you applied for alternative assessment for learners where you get in the reader and the scribe. So yes, they can also be evaluated on that by having a reader and scribe. Thank you, sir. Anyone else would like to add to this? Now, let's just focus on why we use portfolios for assessment quickly. We use portfolios for assessment to certify what you've or students or learners have mastered over a period of time, indicating that a specific level has been mastered and that the student are ready to move on to the next level or to the next grade or to the next higher level. It is also used to track the student's growth, to indicate how the student's skills have developed and the attitudes have changed over time. Because I'm sure when you've entered for this module, you've been thinking, what am I going to do? Because this is an online module. And maybe everything wasn't clear to you until you've started working with this module and went through this module and read up on how to work online. Because BPT is an online module. And we also use assessments or assess portfolios for accountability, where you as students or learners get the opportunity to demonstrate what has been learned. Students, may I proceed? Or would you like
Yes,
me
ma'am.
to? Thank you. Now you also get different types of portfolios. The 4 types of portfolios I'll be discussing tonight is your teaching portfolio, a showcase portfolio, working portfolio, and assessment portfolio. But before I get to that, I just want to tell you there are various types of portfolios. As you have already mentioned, as I've already mentioned, teacher portfolio, showcase, working, and assessment portfolios. There are a few others too, like developmental portfolios, or you can say it's descriptive portfolios. That type of portfolio indicates on an individual's progress and growth over time. As you can see, portfolios develops over time, or what you have learned over time. Then a showcase portfolio is a selection of your best work, or the students or the learners at school's best work. Then you will choose what you want to insert in the profile. All your accomplishments you will put in that profile. So showcase portfolios is there to display and document a student's or a learner's best work. Now let's just touch on assessment portfolio. The assessment portfolio promotes your or the student's self-assessment, and it also plans to evaluate your studies, for example, BPT and the instructions thereof. A selection portfolio, on the other hand, is when you select specific courses or specific students for specific courses or modules. So only those students will be presenting their portfolios, the students that you've selected. And evaluative portfolios. Evaluated portfolios are based on specific criteria. So your portfolio will be based on specific criteria because you will receive your assignment together with the rubric of what is expected of you and what you have to include in your portfolio. Now, if we just look at teaching portfolio, what do you think, students? What will go into a teaching portfolio? Anyone, what do you think what will go into a teaching portfolio? Because BPT is the studies of a professional teacher. So what do you think? What will go into a teaching portfolio?
Ma'am,
Yes.
I would guess like the students like informal assessments and such. Some like exercises not directly affecting the students' end of the year mark, so to say. So it's like assessments on the side to like gauge and measure how the students are doing.
All right, thank you. Anyone else like to add? Cindy, what do you think? Jamie, what do you think what will go into a teacher's portfolio?
I think your evidence, your observations of your learners. Yeah, I don't know.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Rishan, what do you think? Thank you, Jamie.
I would say your planning, yeah, some of your planning, either for your assessment and then of course um, your year planner or annual planner, those type of things. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Good, thank you. Albertina, what do you think? Cindy, please share with me. What do you think will go in the teacher's portfolio? Student, would you like to add? Right, let's continue. As you can see on my slide, I have a teaching portfolio, display portfolio, working and assessment portfolio. Now, what you will get or find in a teacher's portfolio as the teachers or the teaching responsibilities of a teacher, the teaching philosophies and goals, sorry students, as well as the evidence of the teacher's effective teaching, which is quite correct. Your teaching documents will be in there. The evidence of your teaching will be in there. So, it is a structured collection of documentation with learner samples in there, like you've mentioned, students. Now let's just look at the display portfolio. The display portfolio is your showcase portfolio. So, with your display portfolio of students, you will select the students' best work, or you will demonstrate the highest level of the learner's achievements. And remember, a display portfolio or showcase portfolio is a collection of the students' best work, and it may be employed to help students to gain admission to a school or into a special program, or to obtain employment after schooling. Would you like me to explain again, or is that clear to you, students? The display portfolio. Jamie, do you understand? Zubair, do you understand?
It's clear on my side, Portia.
All right,
Yes,
Cindy?
Portia.
All right, good. Thank you. Now let's continue with the working portfolio. As you can see, the working portfolio is a portfolio you're constantly working on. So, a working portfolio contains work in progress as well as finished samples of your work. Remember, It is work that's still in progress, and you can add finished samples of your work. Let's move on to the assessment folio. As you can see on my slide, I said it's based on specific standards and learning outcomes. So that will illustrate how you as a student or learner has met specific standards and achieve the learning outcomes. Then the portfolio, the assessment portfolio, contains samples of the learners or the students' work to show growth over time. And remember, the quality of your work is important and not the quantity. That counts for all the portfolios. Remember that when you do it. It's the quality of your work that's important and not the quantity of the work you include in your portfolio. Students, let's quickly break for 5 minutes and be back at 6:20, please. Thank you. So we'll be back on air 6:20. Go have a cup of coffee, students, and relax for 5 minutes. Thank you. Good day, students. Please give me an indication by showing of hands if you're back in the session.
I'm back.
All right. Thank you, students. Thank you. Let's continue. Let's continue quickly. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, I
Yes,
can.
ma'am.
All right, thank you. Let's continue. So we've discussed the type of portfolios. Who can tell me portfolios, what does it have in common? There's one thing they all have in common.
Can one say progress?
Progress, certainly. Progress over time.
No, I mean, like in general, like how you progress through your field,
Yes.
like how you've grown throughout the time you've been in that specific field.
Yes. But there's one specific answer I'm looking for.
Well, then I do not know, ma'am.
Maybe documentation?
Documentation. Thank you. You must have evidence.
I'm back on.
Excuse me, student, please mute yourself. Thank you. So all these portfolios have one thing in common. You must have evidence at all times. Let's continue. Let's look at the steps in developing a portfolio. As you can see on my screen, there's a few steps on there. Determine the outline, determine the developmental baseline. You must select items, you must reflect and document, make use of recording centers, select specific items, and it must be professional. So let's start with determining the outline of the portfolio. With that, I mean that you should first draw up, when you start your portfolio, you should first draw up a schematic representation of the outline for the sections that you must include in your portfolio. And also, you need to discuss the process. You can discuss the process with fellow students. Remember, your work and his work, or the next student's work, will not be the same, but you can discuss what must be in the portfolio. You can also discuss it with your mentor or teacher, a specialist in the field, to get an idea of what your portfolio should contain. You must also start with what feels more comfortable. So the part of the assignment you feel most comfortable, you can start with that first. Then secondly, you must determine a developmental baseline, meaning to compare your growth and development over the time from the beginning of the semester up until now. You must retrieve all your assignments completed by yourself. And then you can also look at your scoring. You reflect then upon what you know, what you knew then and what you know now, and how you've grown up until now. Thus, providing a baseline for monitoring your personal development and your development as a teacher in training. Is point number 2 understood, or do I need to explain, students? Anyone still unsure or unclear on the second point? So Arlene Isaacs, you good with the second point? Genevieve, you okay? Jessica? Yes, I'm listening, student. Who am I speaking to? All right. Simone, are you clear on point 2 by determining a developmental baseline? Rushan, are you clear on this?
Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm following.
All right, thank you. Stephanie, are you clear? Jamie Lee, please talk to me. Are you clear on this, students? On the second bullet.
Can I just ask, it's a developmental baseline, so it means that it's from where you started.
That's
Baseline.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you
Okay.
started up
Thank you.
until now. All right. Thank you. And then thirdly, you must identify a goal for the portfolio. All right. And then once you've identified the goal for the portfolio, then you select items that would document these goals you've identified for yourself by doing the portfolio. Next, you will develop, let's say, a documenting and reflecting attitude. You will, with that said, you will think constantly of what you would like to document. Remember, I said in the beginning, you will choose your best work or your best assignments, put that in your portfolio. So you will think constantly of what you would like to document, put in your portfolio, and then reflect on it so that it will become part of your approach while doing the portfolio and the developmental process. So, by saying this, you will think constantly of what you would like to document, put in your portfolio, and you will reflect on it so that it becomes part of the approach during your portfolio development process. Is that understood, students? By documenting and reflecting an attitude. Right, let's continue. Then I mentioned there that you must make use of a recording system or center. You must start or begin a recording system because the recording system, will allow you to date on and label each item in your portfolio. Then you have to develop criteria for the specific items. Here, you must carefully select items or writing pieces or assignments that you'd like to insert in your portfolio because this will serve as evidence of what you have achieved. Now, the last bullet. You must ensure that your portfolio is brief, straight to the point, and it must be professional. Because you're in higher education now, therefore your portfolio must be professional. If you look for advice, you can ask your mentor to maybe just have a look at your portfolio before you hand it in for final submission. Students, on that note, I'd like to ask you just to enter your student number in the chat function, please, so that that can be evidence that you've attended my session tonight. Then you can also include specific items to make it professional, such as observations you've done and the reflections during your training you've had. Then you'll get feedback at the end of the day from the assessor on how well you performed or did in portfolio writing. You can also use a variety of methods by making it professional. You will, like I've said, you will include pictures, you will insert documents or upload something on YouTube, perhaps. That will also help you to make it professional. Then, lastly, you must refine and improve your portfolio after you ask your mentor to have a look at it, as it is important, as it is an important part of the portfolio developmental process. You can ask your mentor to check it or someone just to go over your portfolio. Is the steps in developing portfolio understood, students? Any questions on this slide? Anyone?
Good, thank you.
You're good. Thank you. Let's proceed. Now, what do you think? What is the advantages of developing your portfolio or of portfolios? Please, students, share with me. What do you think is the advantages of portfolios?
To provide evidence that you've done your work, that you've progressed.
All right, that's part of it. Thank you. Jessica, what do you think?
I think it's a good reflection of something other than exam-based assessments. So it can demonstrate other forms of skills other than just memorizing and testing.
That's part of it. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you. Simone, what do you think? Jamie, would you like to add? So the advantages. Yes, I'm listening.
So we can better ourselves, or learners in that case, we can improve on our work or performance.
Yes, definitely. You will always reflect. Thank you. Rushan, would you like to add?
Yeah, I think it helps with self-confidence. You know, if you're working with a mentor, you always trying to strive for better, and it makes you want to work. It's something that you want to achieve because your best work is going in there. So yeah,
Yes,
self-confidence is definitely boosted.
Definitely. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Arlene Isaacs, would you like to share your view on this? Albertina or Cindy?
Yes, Portia.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
Yes, Portia. It's also a vital part of your individual's growth and development as you go on with your work.
Yes, thank you. It is. Thank you. So So the advantages of portfolio development is to promote your experimental learning. Let me just elaborate on that. With the portfolio process, the portfolio process provides you the opportunity, like I've said numerous times, to reflect on experiences, to determine what has been learned. It also promotes your learning through regularly reflecting on your experiences, number one, your self-assessment exercises, and your self-directed activities, all the assignments you've done. It promotes learning through regularly reflecting on your experiences, your assessments that you've done, and the assignments you've submitted. It also develops the discipline of regular reflection, which promotes the principle of lifelong learning. Are you all clear on the promotion of experiential learning? Are you all clear on that one?
I'm good on my side.
All right, let's move on. Another advantage of using portfolios is, like the gentleman said, it increases your motivation and your commitment. So the portfolio process enables you as a student to become aware of your growth and development, which will constantly motivate you and encourage you to continue to take charge of your own learning. Because remember, you are learning on your own at higher education level. The portfolio process also monitors your progress towards becoming more independent students. It documents meaningful accomplishments. You handed in your assignments, you get your marks back, and that is the accomplishments you've gained throughout the semester so far. And the portfolio process also assists you as students in attaching value to your own work. Because remember, with the portfolio process, you're constantly striving to grow and to perform and to do your best. So the results that you will get at the end of the semester will be good and favorable. Your third advantage of portfolios is, like the ladies, one of the students said, as to showcase your gifts and your talents. The portfolio process, with handing in your portfolio, will tell a story of your development and achievements. It also, in a way, reveals your talents and giftedness in different ways. Also, opportunities. It also creates opportunities for you as students to include the evidence of your learning. And this can also be used then to demonstrate and to provide proof of the development of your abilities, of how you've grown over this period of studies. Then the last advantage I'd like to add to portfolios is it increases your self-knowledge. And with that goes along your self-confidence. It increases your self-knowledge and self-confidence. Now the portfolio process then, it will reveal your personalities, your interests, and your level of understanding and knowledge. And like I've mentioned before, it will also reveal your talents and your gifts. It will also develop insight into your personal strengths and weaknesses. So you will be able to identify your strengths and weaknesses and to improve on that weaknesses. Because remember, the portfolio, with portfolio development, you constantly growing until you reach your full potential. Everyone clear on this slide, or is there any questions? You good, Cindy? Rushan, you good? Leandra?
Yes, Portia, I'm good.
Yeah, all good. Thank you.
All right.
Yes, Portia. Fine, thank you.
All right, good. Let's continue. Thank you, students. Okay. Now, there's two types of evaluations. All right. It's a formative evaluation and a summative evaluation. With formative evaluation. Formative evaluation refers to evaluation that takes place during the developmental stages of putting your portfolio together. Right? And summative evaluation, on the other hand, refers to the assessment of the overall effectiveness of the BPT module that you study. So, formative evaluation takes place during the developmental stages of your learning, BPT. Yeah, you submit all your assignments that was due, that you submit during the formative evaluation. The summative evaluation, on the other hand, like I've said, refers to the assessment of the overall effectiveness of what you've learned in BPT. Is that understood, students? Do you understand the different types of evaluation?
Understood?
All right. So just keep in mind, with formative evaluation, the materials change, you rethink your goals and objectives, And summative evaluation is the overall effectiveness of this module BPT, how you've grown over the past months doing BPT. Now, what is the purpose of portfolio assessment? Do any one of you like to take a chance? Just tell me what you think is the purpose of portfolio assessment. There must be a purpose why you're being assessed. So what do you think? You're studying towards your teaching degree or your teaching degree. So what do you think? What will the purpose be of portfolio assessments?
I think it's to allow us to reflect on how far we've grown in this module, what we've learned throughout, and whether what we've learned throughout is suitable and useful for afterwards. Yeah.
All right, thank you. Jessica, what do you think? What is the purpose of portfolio assessment? Charlene? Roshan, would you like to add to that?
Yeah,
All
blame
right.
Roshan.
That's right.
No, I think it's also to prepare you as a student for the profession that we are trying to, we want to become teachers. So with all those things in place, it gives you sort of a practice run, ideally within a less anxious environment where you can still be guided, so that when you reach the profession eventually, you won't be dumbstruck.
Yes, definitely. Thank you, Roshan. Kirsten, would you like to share? What do you think, Kirsten? Jamie Lee, would you like to add? All right. The purpose of portfolio assessment is to match the assessment of teaching. It also gives, portfolio assessment also gives a profile of your abilities in terms of the depth, the breadth, and the growth. It also gives a profile of how you've grown over this period of time. And this enables you to demonstrate the quality of the work you've done, because you're only going to submit the best work, include the best assignments in your portfolio. And a portfolio assessment is a tool for assessing a variety of skills, and the portfolio can show written, it can show oral or graphic output of your work in a variety of ways developed. So portfolio assessment gives you an understanding of your growth over this period of time. It also enables you to demonstrate the quality of your work. You can select what you want to put in, only the best you will put in. But remember, you must work according to the rubric, and it's a tool for assessing students' or learners' skills. You can see the cycle. It's to gather evidence, give feedback, reflect and plan, and teaching and learning. So students, please take note the characteristics of portfolios. It must be clearly defined. It must be a systematic and organized collection of your own work. Then your guidelines will be pre-established and it will be communicated to you as what is needed or what needs to be included in your portfolio. Then through portfolio development, you'll be able to reflect on your experiences and you can also do self-evaluation. In the content of your portfolios will be, remember, you must keep in mind the purpose of a portfolio is to determine which items will be included. In general, a good portfolio will consist of the following. It will consist of your work samples, documenting achievements, reflection on achievements, responses to direct and open-ended questions, self-evaluations, and observations. I'm sure you've done interviews with teachers and colleagues, so that must be included in your portfolio. Then you'll get feedback on what you've handed in after it's been assessed, and it will sometimes include work in progress and final copies of work. That must be included in the content of your portfolio. Lastly, I just want to say your portfolio should be reflective and putting it together involves writing a narrative about your teaching and your learning. This reflective discussion or narrative needs to be interlinked with the evidence that you provide to support your claims about your teaching and learning experiences. Then through discussion, you would engage with the evidence. Are you all clear on this, students? Is there any questions?
Clear on my side, Portia.
All right. The rest, by the show of hands, are you clear? Any questions? Right. Thank you, students. On that note, I just want to say, portfolios are purposeful and it represents your knowledge and growth as a student. So when you start your portfolio, plan it carefully. And remember to start with what you're most comfortable with. Thank you, students, for joining this session. Please enter your student numbers in the chat function. Complete the evaluation form and the feedback form. If you cannot type your student number in the chat function. You may give your student number to me now, please.
I'd like to give my student number, please.
Yes, do that.
Zubair.
Yes, Zubair.
654
654
062
062
06.
06. Thank you. Anyone else have a problem entering your student
Portia,
number? Yes.
I also have a problem entering mine. Can I give it to you?
Yes, you may.
It's 36
36
76
76
32
32
92.
92. Thank you.
Thank you, Portia.
Pleasure. Thank you, students. Have a lovely evening. And remember, next week, same time, same place, Monday at 17:30, we'll meet again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Pleasure.
Thanks, ma'am.
Pleasure.
Thanks, ma'am.
Pleasure. Sandy, would you like to say something? Because I see your hand. All right.